Roni the white rabbit hopped through the dense forest, his fur glistening under the soft rays of sunlight that managed to pierce through the thick canopy above. The leaves crunched beneath his small paws as he made his way through the towering trees, his eyes sharp and alert to the slightest movement in the undergrowth. Roni had always been cautious in the forest, for he knew that lurking in the shadows were creatures far larger and more dangerous than him. But today was different. There was something pulling him deeper into the woods, an unfamiliar scent that filled the air. It wasn't the usual earthy smell of moss and wet leaves, nor was it the sweet fragrance of wildflowers. It was something entirely different, something that made Roni's heart race with both excitement and a hint of fear. He paused for a moment, his ears twitching as he listened carefully to the sounds around him. There was a rustling in the bushes to his left, followed by the soft padding of footsteps. Roni's nose twitched as he caught the scent again, stronger this time. Without thinking, he bolted forward, weaving through the trees as fast as his little legs could carry him. He didn't know why he was running, but every instinct in his body told him to keep going, to not stop until he found the source of the scent. The trees became a blur around him, the wind whistling in his ears as he pushed himself harder and harder until suddenly he burst into a clearing, his heart pounding in his chest. The scent was overwhelming now, and in the middle of the clearing stood a large stone structure covered in vines and moss. It looked ancient, as if it had been there for centuries, untouched by time. Roni cautiously approached the structure, his eyes wide with curiosity. There was something almost magical about it, the way the light seemed to dance off the stones, the way the air felt thicker, as if the very space around it was charged with energy. He could feel it tingling in his fur, drawing him closer and closer until he stood right in front of the massive stone door. Without thinking, he reached out and pushed against the door. It was heavy, and for a moment Roni thought he wouldn't be able to move it, but then, with a low groan, the door slowly creaked open, revealing a dark passageway beyond. The air inside was cool and musty, and Roni hesitated for just a moment before stepping inside. The darkness swallowed him as the door slammed shut behind him, but Roni wasn't scared. He could feel the pull stronger now, guiding him deeper into the passage. The walls were rough and cold beneath his paws, and the only sound was the soft patter of his footsteps echoing through the narrow corridor. After what felt like an eternity of walking, the passage finally opened up into a vast underground chamber. Roni's eyes widened in awe as he looked around the room. The walls were covered in strange glowing symbols that pulsed with a soft blue light, casting eerie shadows across the floor. In the center of the room was a large stone pedestal, and atop it sat a small glowing orb. It was the source of the scent Roni had been following all this time. His heart raced as he approached the pedestal, the orb's light growing brighter with each step he took until he stood right in front of it. He could feel the energy radiating from the orb, warming his fur and making his whiskers tingle. It was mesmerizing, and without thinking, Roni reached out and touched the orb. As soon as his paw made contact with the smooth surface, a surge of energy shot through him.